One of the following states was removed from power by the British on the pretext of misgovernance. 2007. Awadh, B. Jhansi, C. Nagpur, D. Satara. Answer A. Explanation. Awadh state was annexed by Lord Dalhousie on the pretext of misgovernance. Awadh 1856 is widely believed to have been annexed under the doctrine of lapse. However, it was annexed by Lord Dalhousie under the pretext of the East India Company would have its princely status abolished and therefore annexed into British India if the ruler was either manifestly incompetent or died without a male heir. Question 2. Q. Who was the Governor General of India during the Sepoy Mutiny? 2006. Lord Canning, B. Lord Dalhousie, C. Lord Hardinge, D. Lord Lytton. Answer A. Explanation. Black's Square, the Indian Rebellion of 1857, was a major uprising in India during 1857-58 against the rule of the British East India Company, which functioned as a sovereign power on behalf of the British Crown. Black's Square, the event is known by many names, including the Sepoy Mutiny, the Indian Mutiny, the Great Rebellion, the Revolt of 1857, the Indian Insurrection, and India's First War of Independence. Black's Square, the Indian Rebellion of 1857, was a major uprising in India during 1857-58 against the rule of the British East India Company, which functioned as a sovereign power on behalf of the British Crown. Black's Square, the event is known by many names, including the Sepoy Mutiny, the Indian Mutiny, the Great Rebellion, the Revolt of 1857, the Indian Insurrection, and India's First War of Independence. Black's Square, Lord Canning served as Governor General of India from 1856 to 1862. Black's Square, during his tenure, the Government of India Act, 1858 was passed which created the office of Viceroy to be held by the same person who was Governor General of India. Thus, Lord Canning also served as first Viceroy of India. Black's Square, the important events during his tenure include passing of Indian Councils Act, 1861 which introduced portfolio system in India. Withdrawal of Doctrine of Lapse, which was the main reason of mutiny of 1857. Introduction of Code of Criminal Procedure. Enactment of Indian High Courts Act. Indian Penal Code 1858. Bengal Rent Act 1859 etc. Question 3. Q. Which one of the following places did Kumar Singh, a prominent leader of the revolt of 1857, belong to? 2005. Bihar. B. Madhya Pradesh. C. Rajasthan. D. Uttar Pradesh. Answer A. Explanation. Black's Square, Kumar Singh, also known as Babu Veer Kumar Singh, was a notable leader during the Indian Rebellion of 1857. He belonged to a Zamindar family of Jagdishpur, Bihar, India. Black's Square, other leaders of the revolt were. Question 4. Q. With reference to the revolt of the year 1857, who of the following was betrayed by, friend, captured and put to death by the British? 2006. Nana Sahib. B. Kumar Singh. C. Khan Bahadur Khan. D. Tantia Tope. Answer D. Explanation. Black's Square, Tantia Tope was in the service of the former Peshwa of the Maratha Confederacy, Bajirao, and of his adopted son Nana Sahib, who also actively participated in revolt. Black's Square, Tantia Tope was one of the most notable Indian freedom fighters and a general in the revolt of 1857. Black's Square, although he had no formal military training, he was probably the best and most effective of all the Indian generals during the revolt. Question 5. Q. The educated middle class in India sad face, 1998. Opposed the revolt of 1857. B. Supported the revolt of 1857. C. Remained neutral to the revolt of 1857. D. Fought against native rulers. Answer C. Explanation. Black's Square, most of the princely rulers and big zamindars did not support the 1857 revolt and actively sided with the British. Their dominions remained free of any anti-colonial uprisings. Black's Square, the educated middle and upper classes were mostly critical of the rebels since they were repelled by the rebels' appeals to superstitions and their opposition to progressive social measures. Question 6. Q. Which one of the following territories was not affected by the revolt of 1857? 2005. Jhansi. B. Chittor. C. Jagdishpur. D. Lucknow. Answer B. Explanation. Black's Square, Indian Rebellion of 1857 began as a mutiny of sepoys of British East India Company's army on May 10, 1857 in the town of Meerut. Black's Square then, it erupted into other mutinies and civilian rebellions largely in the upper Gangetic Plain in Central India, with the major hostilities confined to the region of present-day Black's Square, Uttar Pradesh. Black's Square, Uttarakhand. Black's Square, Northern Madhya Pradesh. Black's Square, Delhi. Black's Square, Gurgaon. Question 7. Q. What were the objects of Queen Victoria Proclamation 1858? 2014. 1. To disclaim any intention to annex Indian states. 2. To place the Indian administration under the British Crown free. To regulate East India Company's trade with India. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1 and 2 only. B. 2 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1, 2 and 3. Answer A. Explanation. Black's Square, the act laid down that henceforth India shall be governed by and in the name of the Queen. Black's Square, it abolished the Board of Control and the Court of Directors. The post of a Secretary of State was created. He was to be assisted by a Council of India which was to consist of 15 members. Black's Square, the doctrine of lapse was cancelled and the British stopped the policy of annexation. Black's Square, the office of the Governor General was changed to that of Viceroy of India. Question 8. Q. Which one of the following statements does not apply to the system of subsidiary alliance introduced by Lord Wellesley? 2018. To maintain a large standing army at others' expense. B. To keep India safe from Napoleonic danger. C. To secure fixed income for the company. D. To establish British paramountcy over the Indian states. Answer C. Explanation. Black's Square subsidiary alliance was a treaty between the company and the Indian native rulers, introduced by Lord Wellesley. Black's Square, in return for payment or subsidy, the company would place garrison troops in the ruler's territory to fight against their rivals. Black's Square, an Indian ruler entering into a subsidiary alliance with the British, would accept British forces within his territory and to pay for their maintenance. Black's Square, to counter the intrigues of Napoleon and any further development of French power in India, Wellesley came up with the policy of subsidiary alliance. Charters and Acts Part 1. Question 1. Q. By regulation in 1793, the district collector was deprived of his judicial powers and made the collecting agent only. What was the reason for such a regulation? 2010. Lord Cornwallis felt that the district collector's efficiency of revenue collection would enormously increase without the burden of additional work. B. Lord Cornwallis felt that judicial power should compulsorily be in the hands of Europeans while Indians can be given the job of revenue collection in the districts. C. Lord Cornwallis was alarmed at the extent of power concentrated in the district collector and felt That such absolute power was undesirable in one person. D. The judicial work demanded a deep knowledge of India and a good training in law and law. Cornwallis felt the district collector should be only a revenue collector. Answer C. Explanation. Cornwallis Code, 1793. Blackford Square. The Cornwallis Code is a body of legislation enacted in 1793 by the East India Company to improve the governance of its territories in India. Blackford Square. The new reforms were based on principle of separation of power. Cornwallis separated the revenue administration from administration of justice. So he divested all the judicial powers of the collector and left him with the duty of revenue. Blackford Square. A new class of officer called the district judge was created to preside over the district civil court. Blackford Square. The best known provision of Cornwallis Code was the Permanent Settlement Act, which established a revenue collection scheme which lasted until the 20th century. Question 2. Q. Which one of the following provisions was not made in the Charter Act of 1833? 2003. The trading activities of the East India Company were to be abolished. B. The designation of the Supreme Authority was to be changed as the Governor General of India in Council. C. All law-making powers to be conferred on Governor General in Council. D. An Indian was to be appointed as a law member in the Governor General's Council. Answer D. Explanation. Charter ACT of 1833. Blackford Square. The Governor General of Bengal was redesignated as the Governor General of India. This made Lord William Bentinck the first Governor General of India. Blackford Square. The Governor General had legislative powers over entire British India. The governors of Bombay and Madras lost their legislative powers. Blackford Square. The Governor General's Council was to have 4 members. Blackford Square. The Act mandated that any law made in India was to be put before the British Parliament and was to be called Act. Blackford Square. As to the Act, an Indian Law Commission was established. The first Law Commission had Lord Macaulay as its chairman. Blackford Square. This Act ended the activities of East India Company as a commercial body, which became a purely administrative body. Blackford Square. The Act provided for the mitigation of slavery existing in India at that time. Blackford Square. The British Parliament abolished slavery in Britain and all its possessions in 1833. Question 3. Q. Consider the following statements. 2006. 1. The Charter Act, 1853 abolished East India Company monopoly of Indian trade. 2. Under the Government of India Act, 1858 the British Parliament abolished the 3. Rule of East India Company and undertook the responsibility of ruling India directly. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. Answer B. Explanation. Charter ACT of 1853. Blackford Square. Charter Act of 1853 separated for the first time the legislative and executive functions of the Governor General's Council. Blackford Square. It provided for addition of 6 new members in Legislative Council. Blackford Square. It introduced an open competition system of selection and recruitment of civil servants. The covenanted civil service was thus thrown open to Indians also. Blackford Square. It introduced for the first time local representation in Legislative Council. Of the 6 new legislative members of Governor General's Council, 4 members were appointed by the local governments of Madras, Bombay, Bengal and Agra. Government of India ACT, 1858. Blackford Square. The Act of 1858 abolished the East India Company and transferred the powers of government, territories and revenues to the British Crown. Question 4. Q. Who among the following Governor Generals created the Covenanted Civil Service of India, which later came to be known as the Indian Civil Service? 2010. Warren Hastings. B. Wellesley. C. Cornwallis. D. William Bentinck. Answer C. Explanation. Blackford Square. Lord Cornwallis, 1786-93, splitted the bureaucracy into 2 parts, political branch responsible for civil governance and commercial branch for commercial activities. Blackford Square. In 1800, Lord Wellesley set up the Fort William College in Calcutta to induct new entrants into CCS. Blackford Square. After 1886, it was called as Imperial Civil Service and its members were appointed under Government of India Act, 1858. Blackford Square. Macaulay Committee gave India its first modern civil service in 1854, which recommended that the patronage-based system of the East India Company should be replaced by permanent civil service based on merit-based system through competitive entry examinations. Question 5. Q. Which one of the following acts of British India strengthened the Viceroy's authority over his executive council by substituting portfolio or departmental system for corporate functioning? 2002. Indian Council Act, 1861. B. Government of India Act, 1858. C. Indian Council Act, 1892. D. Indian Council Act, 1909. Answer A. Explanation. Indian Councils ACT, 1861. Blackford Square. It made a beginning of representative institutions by associating Indians with the lawmaking process. Blackford Square. It provided that Viceroy should nominate some Indians as non-official members of his expanded council. Blackford Square. Thus, Lord Canning nominated 3 Indians. Raja of Benares, Maharaja of Patiala, Sir Dindar Rao. Blackford Square. It initiated the process of decentralization by restoring the legislative powers to the Bombay and Madras presidencies. Blackford Square. It also gave recognition to portfolio system introduced by Lord Canning in 1859. Question 6. Q. Consider the following statements. 2005. 1. Warren Hastings was the first Governor General who established a regular police force in India on the British pattern. 2. A Supreme Court was established at Calcutta by the Regulating Act, 1773. 3. The Indian Penal Code came into effect in the year 1860. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 and 2, B, 2 and 3, C, 1 and 3, D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer B. Explanation. Regulating ACT of 1773. Blackford Square. Regulating Act, 1773 was the first step taken by the British government to control and regulate the affairs of the East India Company in India. Blackford Square. It recognized, for the first time, the political and administrative functions of the company. Blackford Square. It laid the foundations of the central administration in India. Blackford Square. It designated the Governor of Bengal as Governor General of Bengal. Blackford Square. It provided for establishment of Supreme Court at Calcutta, 1774. Blackford Square. It provided for Court of Directors, governing body of the company, to report on its revenue, civil and military affairs in India. Indian Penal Code. Blackford Square. The Indian Penal Code is the criminal code of India to cover all substantive aspects of criminal law. Blackford Square. The code was drafted in 1860 on the recommendation of First Law Commission of India under Charter Act of 1833. Question 7. Q. Which one of the following pairs is not correctly matched? 2004. Pitt's India Act, Warren Hastings. B. Doctrine of Lapse, Dalhousie. C. Vernacular Press Act, Cousin. D. Ilbert Bill, Ripon. Answer C. Explanation. Black's Law Square. The Vernacular Press Act 1878 was enacted to curtail the freedom of the Indian press and prevent the expression of criticism toward British policies. Black's Law Square. The act was proposed by Lord Lytton, then Viceroy of India. Black's Law Square Albert Bill, in the history of India, a controversial measure proposed in 1883 that sought to allow senior Indian magistrates to preside over cases involving British subjects in India. Black's Law Square. The bitter controversy surrounding the measure deepened antagonism between British and Indians, and was a prelude to the formation of the Indian National Congress the following year. Black's Law Square. The Pitt's India Act 1784 distinguished between the commercial and political functions of the company. Black's Law Square. It allowed the court of directors to manage the commercial affairs. Black's Law Square. It created a new body called Board of Control to manage the political affairs. Black's Law Square. It empowered Board of Control to supervise and direct all operations of the civil and military and revenues of British possessions in India. Question 8. Q. Match list I. Acts of Colonial Government of India with list 2 provisions and select the correct answer using the codes given below the lists. 2002. List I. Acts of Colonial Government of India. List 2 provisions. A Charter Act 1813-1 set up a Board of Control in Britain to fully regulate East India. B. Regulating Act 2. Companies' trade monopoly in India was ended. C. Act of 1858-3. The power to govern was transferred from the East India Company to the British Crown. D. Pitt's India Act 4. The company's directors were asked to present to the British government all correspondence and documents pertaining to the administration of the company. Codes. A. A2, B4, C3, D1, B. A1, B3, C4, D2, C. A2, B3, C4, D1, D. A1, B4, C3, D2. Answer A. Question 9. Q. The most short-lived of all of the Britain's constitutional experiments in India was the 1999 Indian Council Act of 1861. B. Indian Council Act of 1892. C. Indian Council Act of 1909. D. Government of India Act of 1919. Answer C. Explanation. Indian Council's ACT of 1909. Black's Law Square. Time span of given acts. Indian Councils Act of 1861 31 years. Indian Councils Act of 1892 17 years. Indian Councils Act of 1909 10 years. Government of India Act 1919 16 years. Black's Law Square Act of 1909 was also called Morley-Minto Reforms. Lord Morley was the Secretary of State of India and Lord Minto was Viceroy of India. Black's Law Square. It considerably increased the size of the legislative councils, both central and provincial. In Central Legislative Council, members increased from 16 to 60, and in Provincial Legislative Council, members were not uniform. Black's Law Square. It provided for the first time for the Association of Indians with the Executive Council of Viceroy and Governor. Satyendra Prasad Sinha became the first Indian to join the Viceroy Executive Council. Black's Law Square. It introduced a system of communal representation for Muslims by accepting the concept of separate electorate. Black's Law Square. Lord Minto came to be known as father of communal electorate. Black's Law Square. The Act empowered the members to discuss the budget. They were given rights to ask supplementary questions and move resolutions on matters related to local bodies. Charters and Acts Part 2. Question 1. Q. The Government of India Act of 1919 clearly defined. 2015. The separation of power between the judiciary and the legislature. B. The jurisdiction of the central and provincial governments. C. The powers of the Secretary of State for India and the Viceroy. D. None of the above. Answer. B. Explanation. Government of India ACT 1919. Black's Law Square. The Government of India Act of 1919 came into force in 1921. This act is also known as Montagu-Chelmsford Reforms. Montagu was the Secretary of State of India and Lord Chelmsford was the Viceroy of India. Black's Law Square. It relaxed the central control over the provinces by demarcating and separating the central and provincial subjects. The central and provincial legislatures were authorized to make laws on their respective list of subjects. Black's Law Square. It further divided the provincial subjects into two parts: transferred and reserved. Black's Law Square. Transferred subjects are to be administered by the governor with aid of ministries responsible to the Legislative Council. Black's Law Square. Reserved subjects were to be administered by the governor and his executive council without being responsible to the Legislative Council. Black's Law Square. This dual scheme of governance was known as Dyaki. Black's Law Square. It introduced for the first time bicameralism in direct elections in the country. Black's Law Square. It further extended the principle of communal representation by providing separate electorate for 6. Indian Christians, Anglo-Indians and Europeans. Black's Law Square. Central Public Service Commission was set up in 1926 for recruiting civil servants. Question 2. Q. The Montagu-Chelmsford Report formed the basis of 2004. The Indian Councils Act 1909. B. The Government of India Act 1919. C. The Government of India Act 1935. D. The Indian Independence Act 1947. Answer B. Question 3. Q. The Montagu-Chelmsford proposals were related to 2016. Social reforms. B. Educational reforms. C. Reforms in police administration. D. Constitutional reforms. Answer D. Question 4. Q. Which of the following are the principal features of the Government of India Act 1919? 2012. 1. Introduction of Dyaki in the executive government of the provinces. 2. Introduction of separate communal electorates for Muslims. 3. Devolution of legislative authority by the centre to the provinces. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. 1 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1, 2 and 3. Answer C. Question 5. Q. In the context of Indian history, the principle of Dyaki refers to 2017. Division of central legislature into two houses. B. Introduction of double government, i.e., central and state governments. C. Having two sets of rulers, one in London and another in Delhi. D. Division of the subjects delegated to the provinces into two categories. Answer D. Question 6. Q. Consider the following statements. 2004. Some of the main features of the Government of India Act 1935 were they. 1. Abolition of Dyaki in the governor's provinces. 2. Power of the governors to veto legislative action and to legislate on their own. 3. Abolition of the principle of communal representation. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 only. B. 1 and 2. C. 2 and 3. D. 1, 2 and 3. Answer B. Explanation. Black's Law Square. It abolished Dyaki in the provinces and introduced provincial autonomy. Black's Law Square. The provinces were allowed to act as autonomous units of administration in their defined spheres. Black's Law Square. It further extended the principle of communal representation by providing separate electorates for depressed classes, women and labour. Black's Law Square. It provided for the establishment of a Reserve Bank of India. Black Small Square, it provided for the establishment of Federal Public Service Commission, Provincial Public Service Commission and Joint Public Service Commission. Black Small Square, it provided for establishment of a federal court, which was set up in 1937. This explanation can be used to solve various previous year UPSC questions. Some of them are given below. Question 7. Q. Consider the following statements. 2005 The Government of India Act, 1935 provided for 1. The provincial autonomy. 2. The establishment of a federal court. 3. All India Federation at the center. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 and 2, B, 2 and 3, C, 1 and 3, D, 1, 2 and 3 answer, D. Question 8. Q. Which one of the following is not a feature of the Government of India Act of 1935? 2000. Diarchy at the center as well as in the provinces. B. A bicameral legislature. C. Provincial autonomy. D. An All India Federation. Answer, A. Question 9. Q. In the federation established by the Government of India Act of 1935, residuary powers were given to the 2018. Federal legislature. B. Governor General. C. Provincial legislature. D. Provincial governors. Answer, B. Question 10. Q. The real intention of the British for including the princely states in the Federal Union proposed by the India Act of 1935 was to 2002. Exercise more indirect politics and administration. B. Involve the princes actively in the administration of the colony. C. Finally affect the complete political and administrative takeover of all the princely states by the British. D. Use the princes to counterbalance the anti-imperialist doctrines of the nationalist leaders. Answer, D. Question 11. Q. The instrument of instructions contained in the Government of India Act 1935 have been incorporated in the Constitution of India in the year 1950 as 2010. Fundamental rights. B. Directive principles of state policy. C. Extent of executive power of state. D. Conduct of business of the Government of India. Answer, B. Explanation. Black Small Square instruments of instructions were the set of instructions under the Act of 1935. These instructions were proposed to issue directives to state and central governments. Black Small Square, they have been incorporated in the Constitution of India in year 1950 as directive principles of state policy. Quick revision. Regulating ACT of 1773. Pitt's India ACT of 1784. Charter ACT of 1833. Charter ACT of 1853. Government of India ACT 1858. Indian Councils ACT 1861. Indian Councils ACT 1892. ACT of 1909 Morley Minto Reforms. ACT of 1919 Montagu Chelmsford. Government of India ACT 1935. The Nationalist Movement 1858 1919 Part 1. Question 1. Q. At a time when empire in Europe were crumbling before the might of Napoleon, which one of the following Governor General kept the British flag flying high in India? 1999. William Bentinck. B. Lord Cornwallis. C. Lord Wellesley. D. Lord Hastings. Answer, D. Question 2. Q. Which one of the following submitted in 1875 a petition to the House of Commons demanding India's direct representation in the British Parliament? 2002. The Deccan Association. B. The Indian Association. C. The Madras Mahajan Sabha. D. The Pune Sarvajanik Sabha. Answer, B. Explanation. Black Small Square, the Indian National Association, also known as Indian Association, was the first avowed nationalist organization founded in British India by Surendranath Banerjee and Anand Mohan Bose in 1876. Black Small Square, the objectives of this association were promoting by every legitimate means the political, intellectual and material advancement of the people. Black Small Square, the association attracted educated Indians and civic leaders from all parts of the country and became an important forum for India's aspirations for independence. It later merged with the Indian National Congress. Question 3. Q. In India, the first bank of limited liability managed by Indians and founded in 1881 was 2003. Hindustan Commercial Bank. B. Odd Commercial Bank. C. Punjab National Bank. D. Punjab and Sindh Bank. Answer, B. Explanation. Black Small Square Odd Commercial Bank or Odd Commercial Bank was established in 1881 in Faizabad. At the time, it was the first commercial bank in India having limited liability and an entirely Indian board of directors. Hindustan Commercial Bank 1943, Punjab National Bank 1894, Punjab and Sindh Bank 1908. Banking origin history in India. Question 4. Q. The first Factory Act restricting the working hours of women and children and authorizing local government to make necessary rules was adopted during whose time? 2007. Lord Lytton. B. Lord Bentinck. C. Lord Ripon. D. Lord Canning. Answer, C. Explanation. Black Small Square, the first Factory Act was passed in 1881 during the time of Lord Ripon. Black Small Square, the act primarily dealt with the problem of child labor. It laid down that children between 7 and 12 would not work for more than 9 hours. Children would also get 4 holidays in a month. The act also provided for proper fencing off of dangerous machinery. Black Small Square major happenings during Lord Ripon tenure. Repeal of Vernacular Press Act. First Factory Act. Ilbert Bill. Question 5. Q. With reference to colonial rule in India, which was sought by the Ilbert Bill in 1883. 2003. To bring Indians and Europeans at par as far as the criminal jurisdiction of courts was concerned. B. To impose severe restrictions on the freedom of the native presses it was perceived to be hostile to colonial rulers. C. To encourage the native Indians to appear for civil service examinations by conducting them in India. D. To allow native Indians to possess arms by amending the Arms Act. Answer, A. Explanation. Black Small Square Ilbert Bill, a controversial measure, was proposed in 1883 that sought to allow senior Indian magistrates to preside over cases involving British subjects in India. Black Small Square, it was introduced by Viceroy Ripon, who actually desired to abolish the racial prejudice from the Indian Penal Code. Black Small Square, the Europeans living in India looked it as a humiliation, and the introduction of the bill led to intense opposition in Britain as well as India by the British residents. So it was withdrawn. Question 6. Q. The Ilbert Bill controversy was related to the 2013 imposition of certain restrictions to carry arms by the Indians. B. Imposition of restrictions on newspapers and magazines published in Indian languages. C. Removal of disqualifications imposed on the Indian magistrates with regard to the trial of the Europeans. D. Removal of duty on imported cotton cloth. Answer, C. Question 7. Q. What was the purpose with which Sir William Wedderburn and W. S. Kane had set up the Indian Parliamentary Committee in 1893? 2011. To agitate for Indian political reforms in the House of Commons. B. To campaign for the entry of Indians into the imperial judiciary. C. To facilitate a discussion on India's independence in the British Parliament. D. To agitate for the entry of eminent Indians into the British Parliament. Answer A. Explanation. About William Wedderburn. Blackfriars Square. William Wedderburn was a Scottish civil servant and politician in India. Blackfriars Square. He entered the Indian civil service in Bombay in 1860, served as district judge and judicial commissioner in Sindh, acted as secretary to Bombay government, judicial and political departments, and from 1885 acted as judge of the High Court, Bombay. Blackfriars Square. During his service in India, Wedderburn's attention was focused on famine, the poverty of the Indian peasantry, the problem of agricultural indebtedness and the question of reviving the ancient village system. Blackfriars Square. Along with Alan Octavian Hume, he was a founder of the Indian National Congress and served as its president in 1889 and 1910. Blackfriars Square. He formed the Indian Parliamentary Committee with which he was associated as chairman from 1893 to 1900. Question 8. Q. During Indian freedom struggle, the National Social Conference was formed. What was the reason for its formation? 2012. Different social reform groups or organizations of Bengal region united to form a single body to discuss the issues of larger interest and to prepare appropriate petitions, representations to the government. B. Indian National Congress did not want to include social reforms in its deliberations and decided to form a separate body for such a purpose. C. Behramji Mulabari and M.G. Ranare decided to bring together all the social reform groups of the country under one organization. D. None of the statements A, B, and C given above is correct in this context. Answer B. Explanation. Blackfriars Square Indian Social Conference was founded by M.G. Ranare and Raghunath Rao. Blackfriars Square. It was the social reform cell of the Indian National Congress. Blackfriars Square. Its first session was held in Madras in 1887. Blackfriars Square. The conference met annually and focused attention on social reform. Blackfriars Square. The conference advocated intercaste marriages, opposed quillism and polygamy. Blackfriars Square. It launched the famous pledge movement to inspire people to take an oath to prohibit child marriage. Question 9. Q. Who among the following used the phrase in British to criticize the English colonial control of India? 2008. Anand Mohan Bose. B. Badruddin Tayebji. C. Dadabhai Nauroji. D. Firoz Shah Mehta. Answer C. Explanation. About Dadabhai Nauroji. Blackfriars Square. Dadabhai Nauroji devoted his entire life to the national movement and came to be known as Grand Old Man of India. Blackfriars Square. He was also the first economic thinker in India. In his writings on economics, he showed that the basic cause of India's poverty lay in the British exploitation of India and the drain of its wealth. Blackfriars Square. He was honoured by being thrice elected president of the Indian National Congress. Blackfriars Square. In 1866, he organized the East India Association in London to discuss the Indian question and to influence British public men to promote Indian welfare. The Nationalist Movement, 1858-1919, Part 2. Question 1. Q. In the context of the Indian freedom struggle, 16th October 1905 is well known for. 2009. The formal proclamation of Swadeshi movement was made in Calcutta Town Hall. B. Partition of Bengal took effect. C. Dadabhai Nauroji declared that the goal of Indian National Congress was Swaraj. D. Lokmanya Tilak started Swadeshi movement in Pune. Answer B. Explanation. Partition of Bengal. Blackfriars Square. The official reason given for partition of Bengal was that Bengal with a population of 78 million had become too big to be administered. Blackfriars Square. This was true to some extent, but the real motive behind the partition plan was British desire to weaken Bengal, the nerve center of Indian nationalism. Blackfriars Square. The Indian National Congress and nationalists of Bengal firmly opposed the partition. Blackfriars Square. Within Bengal, different sections of the population, zamindars, merchants, lawyers, students and even women opposed the partition of their province. Blackfriars Square. Muslims were in favor of partition. Question 2. Q. The partition of Bengal made by Lord Curzon in 1905 lasted until 2014. The First World War, when Indian troops were needed by the British and the partition was ended. B. King George V abrogated Curzon's Act at the Royal Darbar in Delhi in 1911. C. Gandhiji launched his civil disobedience movement. D. The partition of India in 1947 when East Bengal became East Pakistan. Answer B. Explanation. Blackfriars Square. Following the partition, an anti-partition movement was started. Blackfriars Square. This involved non-violent and violent protests, mass boycott of European goods, etc. Blackfriars Square. So to curb the menace of revolutionary terrorism, it was decided to annul the partition of Bengal in 1911. Blackfriars Square. Bihar and Orissa were taken out of Bengal and Assam was made a separate province. Blackfriars Square. Lord Hardinge was the Viceroy of India during the time. Blackfriars Square. Muslims were shocked because they had seen the Muslim majority Eastern Bengal as an indicator of the government's enthusiasm for protecting Muslim interest. Blackfriars Square. Other happenings. Held at Darbar in December 1911 to celebrate the coronation of King George V. Capital shifted from Calcutta to Delhi 1911. Question 3. Q. What was the immediate cause for the launch of the Swadeshi movement? 2010. The partition of Bengal done by Lord Curzon. B. A sentence of 18 months rigorous imprisonment imposed on Lokmanya Tilak. C. The arrest and deportation of Lala Lajpat Rai and Ajit Singh and passing of the Punjab Colonization Bill. D. Death sentence pronounced on the Chapkar brothers. Answer A. Explanation. Blackfriars Square. After the partition, an anti-partition movement was started, but it was not demonstrating much effect on Britishes. So Swadeshi movement was started, where Swadeshi or used Indian goods and boycott of British goods were proclaimed and pledged. Blackfriars Square. Swadeshi movement placed emphasis on the self-reliance or Atmashakti. Self-reliance meant assertion of national dignity, honor and self-confidence. Blackfriars Square. A remarkable aspect of the Swadeshi agitation was the active participation of women in the movement. Blackfriars Square. Many prominent Muslims joined the Swadeshi movement, including Abdul Rasul, Liaquat Hussain, and Ghaznavi. Blackfriars Square. However, many other middle and upper class Muslims remained neutral. Blackfriars Square Muslims, led by the Nawab of Dhaka, supported the partition. Question 4. Q. The Swadeshi and boycott were adopted as methods of struggle for the first time during the 2016 agitation against the partition of Bengal. B. Home Rule movement. C. Non-cooperation movement. D. Visit of the Simon Commission to India. Answer A. Question 5. Q. The song Amar Sona Bangla, written during the Swadeshi movement of India, inspired the liberation struggle of Bangladesh and was adopted as the national anthem of Bangladesh. Who wrote this song? 2007. Rajnikanta Sen. B. Dvijendra Lal Ray. C. Mukunda Das. D. Rabindranath Tagore. Answer D. Explanation. Blackfriars Square. The day of partition was declared to be a day of national mourning throughout Bengal. Blackfriars Square. People walked barefooted and bathed in Ganga. Blackfriars Square. Rabindranath Tagore composed the national song Amar Sona Bangla, which was sung by huge Crowds parading the streets. Black Swastika Square, the ceremony of Raksha Bandhan utilized in a new way. Hindus and Muslims tied Rakhi on one another's wrists as a symbol of unbreakable unity. Question 6. Q. Assertion A. The basic weakness of the early nationalist movement lay in its narrow social base reason. R. It fought for the narrow interests of the social groups which joined it. 2000. Both A and R are true but R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not a correct explanation of A. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. Answer. C. Explanation. Black Swastika Square, the early nationalist movement had a narrow social base and the masses played a passive role. Because the early nationalists lacked political faith in the masses, Black Swastika Square, they felt that there were numerous divisions and subdivisions in the Indian society, and the masses were generally ignorant and had conservative ideas and thoughts. Black Swastika Square, the moderates felt that these heterogeneous elements had first to be welded into a nation before their entry into the political sphere. Question 7. Q. Which one of the following defines extremist ideology during the early phase of Indian freedom movement? 1998. Stimulating the production of indigenous articles by giving them preference over imported commodities. B. Obtaining self-government by aggressive means in place of petitions in constitutional ways. C. Providing national education according to the requirements of the country. D. Organizing coups against the British Empire through military revolt. Answer. B. EXPALNATION. Why extremist ideology grew? Black Swastika Square government was not conceding to any of the important demands put up by moderates. So, nationalists started looking for a more effective mode of political action. Black Swastika Square, the nationalists realized that instead of giving more rights to the Indians, the government was taking away even the existing ones. The NATO brothers were deported without trial. Tilak and others were arrested on charges of sedition. Repressive laws were more amplified. Official Secrets Act curbed freedom of press. Black Swastika Square, the spread of education drew more attention to the poverty and underdeveloped state of the country's economy. Black Swastika Square, international influences etc. Question 8. Q. With reference to the period of extremist nationalist movement in India with its spirit of Swadeshi, which one of the following statements is not correct? 2002. Liaquat Hussain led the Muslim peasants of Barisal in their agitation. B. In 1889, the scheme of national education was formulated by Satish Chandra Mukherjee. C. The Bengal National College was founded in 1906 with Aurobindo as the principal. D. Tagore preached the cult of Atmashakti, the main plank of which was social and economic regeneration of the villages. Answer. A. Question 9. Q. The Indian Muslims, in general, were not attracted to the extremist movement because of 1998. Influence of Sir Syed Ahmad Khan. B. Anti-Muslim attitude of extremist leaders. C. Indifference shown to Muslim aspirations. D. Extremist policy of harping on Hindu aspect. Answer. D. Explanation. Black Swastika Square extremist movement was a great step forward, but it was to some extent a step back in respect of the growth of national unity. Black Swastika Square, the speeches and writings of some of the militant nationalists had a strong religious and Hindu tinge. Black Swastika Square, they identified Indian culture and Indian nation with the Hindu religion and Hindus. Black Swastika Square, they tried to abandon elements of composite culture, for e.g. Tika's propagation of Shivaji and Ganapati festival. The terrorist thoughts before borders Kali. Initiation of anti-partition agitation with dips in Ganga. Question 10. Q. Who among the following rejected the title of knighthood and refused to accept a position in the Council of the Secretary of State for India? 2008. Motilal Nehru. B. M. G. Ranare. C. G. K. Gokhale. D. B. G. Tilak. Answer. C. Explanation. About G. K. Gokhale. Black Swastika Square in 1905, he established Servants of India Society. Black Swastika Square, he presided over the 1905 session of Indian National Congress. Black Swastika Square, he became a member of the Bombay Legislative Council in 1902. Black Swastika Square, he also served as a member of Indian Public Service Commission. Question 11. Q. Which of the following pairs are correctly matched? 1998. 1. Theodore Beck, Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College, Aligarh. 2. Ilbert Bill, Ripon. 3. Firoz Shah Mehta, Indian National Congress. 4. Badruddin Taibji, Muslims League. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. 1, 2, 3 and 4. B. 2 and 4. C. 1, 3 and 4. D. 1, 2 and 3. Answer. D. Explanation. Black Swastika Square, Theodore Beck was a British educationalist working for the British Raj in India, who was invited by Sir Syed Ahmad Khan to serve as principal of the Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College. Black Swastika Square Mohammedan Anglo-Oriental College later evolved into Aligarh Muslim University. Black Swastika Square Ilbert Bill was a bill introduced in 1883 during the viceroyship of Lord Ripon. Black Swastika Square Firoz Shah Mehta held an important and commanding position. His main endeavour was to keep the extremists from dominating Congress. Black Swastika Square, he presided over the Congress session held in Calcutta, 1890. Black Swastika Square Badruddin Taibji was the first Muslim president of Indian National Congress. Black Swastika Square, he was the first Indian to serve as a barrister in High Court of Bombay. The Nationalist Movement, 1858-1919, Part 3. Question 1. Q. Assertion A. Partition of Bengal in 1905 brought to an end the moderates' role in the Indian freedom movement. Reason R. The Surat session of Indian National Congress separated the extremists from the moderates. 1998. Both A and R are true but R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not a correct explanation of A. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. Answer. D. Explanation. Surat split. Aftermath of Surat split. Black Swastika Square, the government launched a massive attack on extremists. Between 1907 and 1911, 5 new laws were enforced to check anti-government activity, like Seditious Meetings Act, 1907, Indian Newspapers Act, 1908, Criminal Law Amendment Act, 1908, etc. Black Swastika Square Tilak, the main extremist leader, was sent to jail for 6 years. Black Swastika Square Aurobindo and BC Pal retired from active politics. Black Swastika Square extremists were not able to organize an effective alternative party to sustain the movement. Black Swastika Square, the moderates were left with no popular base or support, as the youth rallied behind the extremists. Black Swastika Square after 1908, the national movement as a whole declined for a time. Question 2. Q. What was the main reason for the split in Indian National Congress at Surat in 1907? 2016. Introduction of communalism into Indian politics by Lord Minto. B. Extremist lack of faith in the capacity of the moderates to negotiate with the British government. C. Foundation of Muslim League. D. Aurobindo Ghosh's inability to be elected as the president of the Indian National Congress. Answer. B. Question 3. Q. Which one of the following movements has contributed to a split in the Indian National Congress resulting in the emergence of moderates and extremists? 2015. Swadeshi movement. B. Quit India movement. C. Non-cooperation movement. D. Civil disobedience movement. Answer. A. Question 4. Q. The Barra dacoity was the first major venture of the revolutionary terrorists of the freedom movement in 1995. Bombay, Karnataka. B. Punjab. C. East Bengal. D. The Madras Presidency. Answer C. Explanation. Blackswall Square in early 1908, Pulan Bihari Das organized the sensational Barra dacoity. Blackswall Square, the audacious dacoity was committed in broad daylight by a group of revolutionaries at the residence of the Zamindar of Barra, under the Nawabganj police station in the district of Dhaka. Blackswall Square, the fund was used for buying arms and ammunition. Blackswall Square, other revolutionary activities. Question 5. Q. A London branch of the All India Muslim League was established in 1908 under the presidency of 2001. Aga Khan. B. Amir Ali. C. Liaquat Ali Khan. D. M. A. Jinnah. Answer B. Explanation. Blackswall Square Syed Amir Ali established the London Muslim League in 1908. This organization was an independent body and not a branch of All India Muslim League. Blackswall Square in 1909, he became the first Indian to sit as a member of the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. All India Muslim League. Blackswall Square, the separatist tendencies among a section of educated Muslims and the big Muslims Nawabs and landlords reached a climax in 1906. Blackswall Square, the All India Muslim League was founded under the leadership of Aga Khan, the Nawab of Dhaka. Nawab Mohsin ul Mulk in 1906. Blackswall Square later, with the help of Lord Minto, it also secured the demand for separate electorate. Question 6. Q. Who was the leader of the Gadar Party? 1998. Bhagat Singh. B. Lala Hardayal. C. Bal Gangadhar Tilak. D. V. D. Savarkar. Answer B. Explanation. Blackswall Square, the Gadar Party was an Indian revolutionary organization primarily founded in 1913 by Sohan Singh Bhakna. The party was multi-ethnic and had Sikh, Hindu and Muslim leaders. Blackswall Square, the party was headquartered in San Francisco, United States. Blackswall Square key members included Blackswall Square Bhai Pramanand, Blackswall Square Sohan Singh Bhakna, Blackswall Square Bhagwan Singh Gyani, Blackswall Square Hardayal, Blackswall Square Rasbihari Bose etc. Question 7. Q. Where were the Gadar revolutionaries who became active during the outbreak of the World War based 2005? Central America. B. North America. C. West America. D. South America. Answer B. Question 8. Q. Annie Besant was 2013. 1. Responsible for starting the Home Rule movement. 2. The founder of the Theosophical Society. 3. Once the president of the Indian National Congress. Select the correct statements using the codes given below. 1 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1, 2 and 3. Answer C. Explanation. Blackswall Square after the war, a section of nationalists felt that popular pressure was required to attain concessions from the government. But this mass agitation couldn't be carried out under the king because moderates were disillusioned by the Molly Minto reforms. Blackswall Square therefore 2 Home Rule leagues were started. Tilak's league set up in April 1916 and was restricted to Maharashtra, excluding Bombay, Karnataka, Central Provinces and Berar. Besant's league set up in September 1916 in Madras and covered the rest of India. Blackswall Square, the Home Rule League campaign aimed to convey to the common man the message of self-government. Blackswall Square later, Motilal Nehru, Jawaharlal Nehru, Bhulabhai Desai, Madan Mohan Malviya, Muhammad Ali Jinnah etc. also joined the league. Blackswall Square Annie Besant was a British socialist, theosophist and supporter of Indian self-rule. Blackswall Square she was the second president of Theosophical Society from 1907 to 1933. Blackswall Square she was the first woman president of Indian National Congress in 1917. Question 9. Q. After returning from South Africa, Gandhiji launched his first successful satyagraha in 2000-2007. Chauri Chura. B. Dandi. C. Champaran. D. Bardoli. Answer C. Explanation. Blackswall Square M.K. Gandhi returned to India in January 1915 from South Africa. Blackswall Square he was convinced that only technique capable of meeting the nationalist aims was a non-violent satyagraha. Blackswall Square during 1917 and 1918, he was involved in 3 struggles in Champaran, Ahmedabad and Kheda. Champaran Satyagraha 1917 first. Civil disobedience. Ahmedabad Mill Strike 1918 first. Hunger Strike. Kheda Satyagraha 1918 first non-cooperation. Question 10. Q. Which of the following is a very significant aspect of the Champaran Satyagraha? 2018. Active all India participation of lawyers, students and women in the national movement. B. Active involvement of Dalit and tribal communities of India in the national movement. C. Joining of peasant unrest to India's national movement. D. Drastic decrease in the cultivation of plantation crops and commercial crops. Answer C. Question 11. Q. Consider the following statements. 2010. 1. Dr. Rajendra Prasad persuaded Mahatma Gandhi to come to Champaran to investigate the problem of the peasants. 2. Acharya J.B. Kripalani was one of Mahatma Gandhi's colleagues in his Champaran investigation. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. Answer B. Question 12. Q. What is the correct sequence of the following events? 1998. 1. Tilak's Home Rule League. 2. Komarata Meru Incident. 3. Mahatma Gandhi's arrival in India. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. 1, 2, 3, B, 3, 2, 1, C, 2, 1, 3, D, 2, 3, 1. Answer D. Explanation. Blackswall Square, the Komarata Meru incident involved the Japanese steamship Komarata Meru, on which a group of citizens of the British Raj attempted to emigrate to Canada in 1914 but were denied entry and forced to return to Calcutta, India. There they were fired upon by Indian Imperial Police, resulting in the deaths of 26. Blackswall Square. This was one of several incidents in the early 20th century in which exclusion laws in Canada and the United States were used to exclude immigrants of Asian origin. The Nationalist Movement, 1858-1919, Part 4, Roll it ACT. Question 1. Q. The first venture of Gandhi in all India politics was the 1999 Non-Cooperation Movement. B. Roll it Satyagraha. C. Champaran Movement. D. Dandi March. Answer B. Explanation. Blackswall Square. The British used brutal methods to suppress the Roll it Satyagraha. On the 13th of April 1919, the British opened fire on a peaceful group of protesters gathered at Jallianwala Bagh. The Jallianwala Bagh massacre sent shockwaves throughout the nation. Blackswall Square. Mahatma Gandhi formed a Satyagraha Sabha on the 24th of February 1919 at Bombay to protest against the Roll it Act. Blackswall Square. M.A. Jinnah, Abdul Bari and other Home Rule leaders also supported the Satyagraha. Blackswall Square. In order to suppress revolutionary crime, Government of India had appointed a committee under the chairmanship of Justice Sidney Rowlatt. Blacksmall Square an act was made called Rowlatt Act and it proposed that offences should be tried in special court with no provision of appeal against the decision of court. Blacksmall Square it also recommended to search a place in arrest a person without a warrant. Besides, it could also detain a person without trial for maximum 2 years. Blacksmall Square all national leaders condemned the incidents. Blacksmall Square Rabindranath Tagore renounced his knighthood in protest against the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Question 2. Q. The Anarchical and Revolutionary Crime Act 1919 was popularly known as the 1996 Rowlatt Act. B. Pitt's India Act. C. Indian Arms Act. D. Ilbert Bill. Answer A. Question 3. Q. Which one of the following aroused a wave of popular indignation that led to the massacre by the British at Jallianwala Bagh? 2007. The Arms Act. B. The Public Safety Act. C. The Rowlatt Act. D. The Vernacular Press Act. Answer C. Question 4. Q. Who was the Viceroy of India when the Rowlatt Act was passed? 2008. Lord Irwin. B. Lord Reading. C. Lord Chelmsford. D. Lord Wavell. Answer C. Explanation. Lord Chelmsford. Blacksmall Square formation of Home Rule Leagues by Annie Besant and Tilak 1916. Blacksmall Square Lucknow session of the Congress 1916. Blacksmall Square Lucknow pact between the Congress and Muslim League. Blacksmall Square launch of Champaran Satyagraha, Kheda Satyagraha and Ahmedabad Mill strike. Blacksmall Square Montague's August Declaration. Blacksmall Square Government of India Act 1919. Blacksmall Square the Rowlatt Act. Blacksmall Square Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Blacksmall Square launch of non-cooperation and Khilaf movement. Question 5. Q. The Rowlatt Act aimed at 2012. Compulsory economic support to war efforts. B. Imprisonment without trial and summary procedures for trial. C. Suppression of the Khilaf movement. D. Imposition of restrictions on freedom of the press. Answer B. Question 6. Q. With reference to Rowlatt Satyagraha, which of the following statements are correct? 2015. 1. The Rowlatt Act was based on the recommendations of the Sedition Committee. 2. In Rowlatt Satyagraha, Gandhiji tried to utilize the Home Rule League. 3. Demonstrations against the arrival of Simon Commission coincided with Rowlatt Satyagraha. Select the correct answer using the code given below. 1 only. B. 1 and 2 only. C. 2 and 3 only. D. 1, 2 and 3. Answer B. Question 7. Q. During the Indian freedom struggle, why did Rowlatt Act arouse popular indignation? 2009. It curtailed the freedom of religion. B. It suppressed the Indian traditional education. C. It authorized the government to imprison people without trial. D. It curbed the trade union activities. Answer C. Question 8. Q. The name of the famous person of India who returned the knighthood conferred on him by the British government as a token of protest against the atrocities in Punjab in 1919 was 2004. Tej Bahadur Sapru. B. Ashutosh Mukherjee. C. Rabindranath Tagore. D. Syed Ahmad Khan. Answer C. Question 9. Q. Which one of the following events was characterized by Montague as preventive murder? 1998. Killing of FINA activists. B. Massacre at Jallianwala Bagh. C. Shooting of Mahatma Gandhi. D. Shooting of cousin with. Answer B. Question 10. Q. The Hunter Commission was appointed after the 2001 Black Hole Incident. B. Jallianwala Bagh Massacre. C. Uprising of 1857. D. Partition of Bengal. Answer B. Explanation. Blacksmall Square on the 14th of October 1919, after orders issued by the Secretary of State for India, Edwin Montagu, the Government of India announced the formation of a committee of inquiry into the events in Punjab. Jallianwala Bagh Massacre. Blacksmall Square it was named after the chairman, William Lord Hunter. Blacksmall Square the stated purpose of the commission was to investigate the recent disturbances in Bombay, Delhi and Punjab, about their causes and the measures taken to cope with them. The Nationalist Movement 1858-1919 Part 5. Question 1. Q. What was the reason for Mahatma Gandhi to organize a satyagraha on behalf of the peasants of Kheda? 2011. 1. The administration did not suspend the land revenue collection in spite of it brought to. The administration proposed to introduce permanent settlement in Gujarat. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2. Answer A. Explanation. Blacksmall Square the struggle was withdrawn when government announced that revenue should be recovered only from those peasants who could afford to pay. Blacksmall Square Gandhiji supported the peasants and advised them to withhold payment of revenue till their demand for its remission was met. Blacksmall Square in 1918, crops failed in Kheda district of Gujarat, but the government refused to remit land revenue and insisted on its full collection. Blacksmall Square main leaders were M.K. Gandhi, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, Indulal Yagnik, Mahadev Desai etc. Question 2. Q. Who founded the Ahmedabad Textile Labour Association? 2009. Mahatma Gandhi. B. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. C. N.M. Joshi. D. J.B. Kripalani. Answer A. Explanation. Blacksmall Square in 1918, Mahatma Gandhi intervened in a dispute between the workers and mill owners of Ahmedabad. Blacksmall Square he advised the workers to go on strike and to demand a 35% increase in wages. Blacksmall Square but he insisted that the workers should not use violence against the employers during the strike. Blacksmall Square he also undertook a fast unto death to strengthen the workers' resolve to continue the strike. Blacksmall Square on the fourth day, owners agreed to give the workers a 35% increase in wages. Question 3. Q. Which of the following pairs are correctly matched? 2005 movement Satyagrahi person actively associated with 1. Champaran, Rajendra Prasad. 2. Ahmedabad Mill Workers, Morarji Desai. 3. Kheda, Vallabhbhai Patel. Select the correct answer using the code given below. Codes. 1 and 2, B, 2 and 3, C, 1 and 3, D, 1, 2 and 3. Answer C. Question 4. Q. Who among the following was not associated with the formation of UP Kisan Sabha in February 1918? 2005. Indra Narain Dwivedi. B. Gauri Shankar Mishra. C. Jawaharlal Nehru. D. Madan Mohan Malviya. Answer C. Explanation. Blacksmall Square after the 1857 revolt, the Awadh Talukas had got back their lands. This strengthened the hold of big landlords over the agrarian society. Blacksmall Square the cultivators were subjected to high rents, summary evictions, illegal levies, renewal fee or Ms. Rana, Black Wall Square also, after the First World War, the hike in prices of food and other necessities worsened the condition of UP peasants. Black Wall Square. So, in 1918, UP Kisan Sabha organized in UP. Black Wall Square. The UP Kisan Sabha was set up in February 1918 by Gauri Shankar and Indra Narayan Dwivedi. Black Wall Square. MODERN1 Malviya supported their efforts. Black Wall Square. Other prominent leaders were Jimgir Singh, Durgapal Singh, Baba Ramchandra. Question 5. Q. Assertion A. In 1916, Maulana Muhammad Ali and Abul Kalam Azad resigned from the Legislative Council. Reason R. The Rowlatt Act was passed by the government in spite of being opposed by all Indian members of the Legislative Council. 2003. Both A and R are true but R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not a correct explanation of A. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. Answer D. Question 6. Q. What is the correct sequence of the following events? 1995. 1. The Lucknow Pact. 2. The introduction of Gyaki. 3. The Rowlatt Act. 4. The partition of Bengal. Codes. 1, 3, 2, 4, B, 4, 1, 3, 2, C, 1, 2, 3, 4, D, 4, 3, 2, 1. Answer B. Explanation. Black Wall Square Lucknow Pact, December 1916, agreement made by the Indian National Congress headed by Bal Gangadhar Tilak and the All India Muslim League led by Muhammad Ali Jinnah. Black Wall Square. It was adopted by the Congress at its Lucknow session in Dec. 1916. Black Wall Square. The pact dealt both with the structure of the government of India and with the relation of the Hindu and Muslim communities. Black Wall Square. Main features of this pact were: there shall be self-government in India. Muslims should be given 1/3 representation in the central government. There should be separate electorates for all the communities until a community demanded joint electorates. At the provincial level, 4/5 of the members of the Legislative Council should be elected and 1/5 should be nominated etc. Question 7. Q. The native state of Tripura became involved in the freedom movement early in the 20th century because 2000. The kings of Tripura were always anti-British. B. The Bengal revolutionaries took shelter in Tripura. C. The tribes of the state were fiercely freedom-loving. D. There were already some groups fighting against the kingship and its protector, the British. Answer D. Struggle for Swaraj, 1919-1939, Part 1. Khilafat and non-cooperation movement. Black Wall Square. The economic situation of the country in post-war period became alarming with a rise in prices of commodities, decrease in production, increase in taxes etc. Almost all the sections suffered due to the war and this strengthened the anti-British attitude. Black Wall Square. The Rowlatt Act, the imposition of martial law in Punjab and the Jallianwala Bagh massacre exposed the brutal face of the British rule. Black Wall Square. The post-First World War period also the preparation of the ground for common political action by Hindus and Muslims. The Lucknow Pact. The Rowlatt Act. Young radical nationalists in the organizations. Khilafat issue. Black Wall Square. During the war, Turkey had allied with Germany and Austria against the British. When the war ended, the British took a stern attitude towards Turkey. Turkey was dismembered and the Khalifa removed from power. Black Wall Square. Muslims in India as well as all over the world regarded the Sultan of Turkey as their spiritual leader. So naturally their sympathies were with Turkey. Black Wall Square. In India, Muslims demanded from the British Caliph's control over Muslim sacred places should be retained. Khalifa should be left with sufficient territories after territorial arrangements. Black Wall Square. Khilaf committee was formed under the leadership of the Ali brothers, Maulana Azad, Hakim Ajmal Khan and Hasrat Mohani. Black Wall Square. The All India Khilaf conference held at Delhi in November 1919 and decided to withdraw all cooperation from the government if their demands were not met. Non-cooperation movement. Black Wall Square. The Khilaf committee launched a non-cooperation movement on the 31st of August 1920. Black Wall Square. The Congress supported Gandhi's plan for non-cooperation with the government to the Punjaban. Khilaf tribes were removed and Swaraj established. Black Wall Square. People were asked to boycott government educational institutions, law courts, foreign clothes, conferred titles and honors, and to practice hand spinning and hand weaving for producing khadi. Black Wall Square. Later, the program included resignation from government, service and mass civil disobedience including refusal to pay taxes. Black Wall Square. The Tilak Swaraj Fund was started to finance the non-cooperation movement and within 6 months over a crore of rupees were subscribed. Black Wall Square. In July 1921, the All India Khilaf Committee passed a resolution declaring that no Muslim should serve in the British Indian Army. Black Wall Square. The government again took recourse to repression. By the end of 1921, all important leaders except Gandhiji were behind bars along with 3,000 others. Black Wall Square. In the annual session of Congress at Ahmedabad in 1921, all Satyagrahis were to take pledge to remain non-violent in word and deed and to practice Swadeshi and wear only khadi. Black Wall Square. The movement spread deep amongst the masses. In parts of UP, tenants refused to pay illegal dues to the zamindars. In the Punjab, Sikhs were leading a non-violent movement known as the Akali movement to remove corrupt mahants from Gurudwaras in Assam. The plantation labourers went on strike. The peasants of Mirnapur refused to pay union board taxes etc. Black Wall Square. 0 and the 1st of February 1922, Mahatma Gandhi announced that he would start mass civil disobedience, including non-payment of taxes, unless within 7 days the political prisoners were released and the press freed from government control. Black Wall Square. A Congress procession of 3,000 peasants at Chauri Chura was fired upon by the police. The angry crowd attacked and burned the police station, causing the death of 22 policemen. Black Wall Square. The Congress Working Committee met at Bardoli in Gujarat on the 12th of February and passed a resolution stopping all activities which would lead to breaking of all laws. Black Wall Square. It urged congressmen to donate their time to the constructive program popularization of the Charkha national schools, removal of untouchability, promotion of Hindu-Muslim unity. Question 1. Q. Assertion A. The Khilaf movement did bring the urban Muslims into the fold of the national movement. Reason R. There was a predominant element of anti-imperialism in both the national and Khilaf movement. 1998. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not a correct explanation of A. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. Answer A. Question 2. Q. Consider the following statements. 1996 Tenant Cooperation Movement led to 1. Congress becoming a mass movement for the first time. 2. Growth of Hindu-Muslims unity. 3. Removal of fear of the British might from the minds of the people. 4. British government's willingness to grant political concessions to Indians. Out of these statements, 1, 2, 3 and 4 are correct. B. 2 and 3 are correct. C. 1 and 3 are correct. D. 3 and 4 are correct. Answer B. Question 3. Q. Assertion A. Gandhi stopped the non-cooperation movement in 1922. Reason R. Violence at Chori Chora led him to stop the movement. 1998. Both A and R are true and R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not the correct explanation of A. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. Answer A. Question 4. Q. In 1920, which of the following changed its name to Swaraj Sabha? 2018. All India Home Rule League. B. Hindu Mahasabha. C. South Indian Liberal Federation. D. The Servants of India Society. Answer A. Question 5. Q. In October 1920, who headed a group of Indians gathered at Tashkent to set up a Communist Party of India? 2005. H.K. Sarkar. B. P.C. Joshi. C. M.C. Chagla. D. M.N. Roy. Answer D. Explanation. Communist Party. Blackswall Square Communist Party of India was formed on the 17th of October 1920 in Tashkent by Indian revolutionaries who were outside India at that time. Blackswall Square, the October Revolution and the formation of the USSR gave inspiration to the people all over the world for a better society based on socialist, communist ideas. Blackswall Square, the 7 comrades who formed the party were M.N. Roy, Evelyn Trent Roy, Abani Mukherjee, Rosa Fatimov, Muhammad Ali, Muhammad Shafiq and Acharya. Blackswall Square, the British could not terminate communism in India, instead it flourished. Blackswall Square after independence, the CPI was split in 1964 and the CPI, Marxist, was formed in 1964. The CPI-M is the biggest communist party in India at present. Question 6. Q. When Congress leaders condemned the Montagu-Chelmsford report, many moderates left the party to form the 2003 Swaraj Party. B. Indian Freedom Party. C. Independence Federation of India. D. Indian Liberal Federation. Answer D. Explanation. Indian Liberal Federation. Blackswall Square, when the Montagu report of 1918 was made public, there was a divide in the Congress over it. The moderates welcomed it while the extremists opposed it. This led to a schism in the Congress with moderate leaders forming the National Liberal Federation of India in 1919. Blackswall Square, its most prominent leaders were Tej Bahadur Sapru, B.S. Srinivasan Sastry and M.R. Jaikar. Blackswall Square, Tej Bahadur Sapru emerged as the most important leader among the liberals. Blackswall Square, during the agitation against the Simon Commission, he launched the idea of an all-parties conference in India to prepare an agreed constitutional scheme. Blackswall Square, the liberals were moderate nationalists who openly pursued India's independence from British rule and resented the excesses of British imperialism. Blackswall Square, they preferred gradual constitutional reform to revolutionary methods as the means of achieving independence, and because they attempted to secure constitutional reform by cooperating with British authority rather than defying it. Blackswall Square in 1925, the liberals joined the Swaraj Party to demand a round-table conference to discuss constitutional reforms. Question 7. Q. During the Indian freedom struggle, who among the following proposed that Swaraj should be defined as complete independence free from all foreign control? 2004. Mazharul Haq. B. Maulana Hasrat Mohani. C. Hakim Ajmal Khan. D. Abul Kalam Azad. Answer D. Question 8. Q. The Sarabandi No Tax campaign of 1922 was led by 1996. Bhagat Singh. B. Chittaranjan Das. C. Rajguru. D. Vallabhbhai Patel. Answer D. Simon Commission. The Indian Statutory Commission, commonly referred to as the Simon Commission, was a group of 7 British members of Parliament under the chairmanship of Sir John Simon. Blackswall Square, the commission arrived in British India in 1928 to study constitutional reform in India. Blackswall Square, one of its members was Clement Attlee, who later became Prime Minister of Britain, 1945-1951. Why Simon Commission was introduced. Blackswall Square Diaki was introduced in India by the Government of India Act 1919. The Act also promised that a commission would be appointed after 10 years to review the working in progress made on the measures taken through the Act. Why Simon Commission was boycotted. Blackswall Square, the commission was opposed since it had 7 British members of British Parliament and no Indian. Blackswall Square Indians saw it as a violation to their right of self-determination and insult to their self-respect. Blackswall Square prominent Indian nationalist Lala Lajpat Rai led a protest in Lahore. He suffered a police beating during the protest and died of his injuries on the 17th of November 1928. What were the outcomes of Simon Commission? Blackswall Square, it proposed the abolition of Diaki and the establishment of representative government in the provinces. Blackswall Square, it also recommended that separate communal electorates be retained, but only until tensions between Hindus and Muslims had died down. Blackswall Square in September 1928, ahead of the commission's release, Motilal Nehru presented his Nehru report. This report advocated that India be given dominant status of complete internal self-government. Blackswall Square, the outcome of the Simon Commission was the Government of India Act 1935, which called for responsible government at the provincial level in India but not at the national level. Question 9. Q. Simon Commission of 1927 was boycotted because 1998. There was no Indian member in the commission. B. It supported the Muslim League. C. Congress felt that the people of India are entitled to Swaraj. D. There were differences among the members. Answer A. Question 10. Q. The people of India agitated against the arrival of Simon Commission because 2013. Indians never wanted the review of the working of the Act of 1919. B. Simon Commission recommended the abolition of Daiki in the provinces. C. There was no Indian member in the Simon Commission. D. The Simon Commission suggested the partition of the country. Answer C. Question 11. Q. With reference to Simon Commission's recommendations, which one of the following statements is correct? 2010. It recommended the replacement of Daiki with responsible government in the provinces. B. It proposed the setting up of interprovincial council under the Home Department. C. It suggested the abolition of bicameral legislature at the centre. D. It recommended the creation of Indian police service with a provision for increased pay and allowances for British recruits as compared to Indian recruits. Answer A. Struggle for Swaraj 1919-1939 Part 2. In this chapter, we will be analyzing the previous year UPSC prelims questions asked in the context of India's freedom struggle during the time period of 1919-1939. The first question that we'll be solving is from the topic Nehru Report. It is an important topic, so let us first revise some of the important facts associated with it before we solve the question. This revision will allow you to answer the questions easily. Nehru Report. Blackswall Square is an answer to Lord Birkenhead's challenge. An all-parties conference met in February 1928 and appointed a subcommittee under the chairmanship of Motilal Nehru to draft a constitution. Blackswall Square, this was the first major attempt by the Indians to draft a constitutional framework for the country. Blackswall Square, the committee included Tej Bahadur Sapru, Subhash Bose, Mizane, Mangal Singh, Ali Imam, Shoaib Qureshi and G.R. Pradhan as its members. Salient features of Nehru reports. Blackswall Square dominion status on lines of self-governing dominions is the form of government desired by Indians. Black small square rejection of separate electorates, instead a demand for joint electorates with reservation of seats for Muslims at the center and in provinces where they were in minority. Black small square linguistic provinces. Black small square 19 fundamental rights including equal rights for women, right to form unions and universal added suffrage. Black small square responsible government. At the center and in provinces. Black small square full protection to cultural and religious interests of the Muslims. Black small square complete dissociation of state from religion. Delhi proposals. Black small square joint electorates in place of separate electorates with reserved seats for Muslims. Black small square 1/3 representation to Muslims in Central Legislative Assembly. Black small square representation to Muslims in Punjab and Bengal in proportion to their population. Black small square formation of 3 new Muslim majority provinces in Baluchistan and Northwest Frontier Province. Concessions given to Hindu Mahasabha. Black small square joint electorates proposed everywhere but reservation for Muslims only where in minority. Black small square Sindh to be detached from Bombay only after dominion status was granted and subject to weightage to Hindu minority in Sindh. Black small square when these demands were not accommodated. In March 1929, Jinnah gave 14 points which were to become the basis of all future propaganda of the Muslim League. Conclusion of Nehru Report. Black small square Muslim League, Hindu Mahasabha and Sikh communalists were unhappy about the Nehru Report. Black small square younger section of the Congress led by Jawaharlal Nehru and Subhash Chandra Bose were also angered. The younger section regarded the idea of dominion status in the report as a step backward. Black small square Nehru and Subhash Bose rejected the Nehru Report and jointly set up the Independence for India League. Question 1. Q. With reference to the period of Indian freedom struggle, which of the following was or recommended be the Nehru Report? 2011. 1. Complete independence for India. 2. Joint electorates for reservation of seats for minorities. 3. Provision of fundamental rights for the people of India in the Constitution. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. 1 only. B. 2 and 3 only. C. 1 and 3 only. D. 1, 2 and 3 answer. B. Question 2. Q. The leader of the Bardoli Satyagraha, 1928 Bus, 2003. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. B. Mahatma Gandhi. C. Vijayabhai J. Patel. D. Mahadev Desai answer. A. Explanation. Bardoli Satyagraha. Black small square in 1925, the taluka of Bardoli in Gujarat suffered from floods and famine, causing crop production to suffer and leaving farmers facing great financial troubles. Black small square however, the government of the Bombay Presidency had raised the tax rate by 30% that year and, despite petitions from civic groups, refused to cancel the rise in the face of the calamities. Black small square Patel first wrote to the governor of Bombay, asking him to reduce the taxes for the year in face of the calamities. But the governor ignored the letter and reciprocated by announcing the date of collection. Black small square Patel then instructed all the farmers of Bardoli taluka to refuse payment of their taxes. Black small square in 1928, an agreement was finally brokered by the Bombay government. Black small square the government agreed to restore the confiscated lands and properties, as well as cancel revenue payment not only for the year, but cancel the 30% raise until after the succeeding year. Black small square it was women of Bardoli who bestowed the title Sardar for the first time, which in Gujarati and most Indian languages means chief or leader. Black small square it was after Bardoli that Sardar Patel became one of India's most important leaders. Before we proceed to some more UPSC previous year questions asked in context of India's freedom struggle, let us first go through some important facts associated with civil disobedience movement as UPSC has asked repeated questions from these topics and revising the theory will allow you to solve the questions easily. Civil disobedience movement. Black small square after the Nehru Report, Congress decided that if the government did not accept a constitution based on dominion status by the end of year, Congress would launch a civil disobedience movement to attain its goal. Black small square but Viceroy Irwin suggested round table conference to be held after Simon Commission submitted its report. Gandhi's 11 demands. Black small square to carry forward the mandate given by the Lahore Congress, Gandhi presented 11 demands to the government and gave an ultimatum of January 31, 1930 to accept or reject these demands. Black small square Gandhi along a band of 78 members of Sabarmati Ashram marched from Ahmedabad through the villages of Gujarat to the coast of Dandi to break the salt law. Black small square the historic march, marking the launch of civil disobedience movement began on March 12 and Gandhi broke the salt law by picking up a handful of salt at Dandi on April 6. Spread of the movement. Black small square wherever possible civil disobedience of the salt law should be started. Black small square foreign liquor and cloth shops can be picketed. Black small square refusal to pay taxes. Black small square lawyers can give up practice. Black small square public can boycott law courts by refraining from litigation. Black small square government. Servants can resign from their posts. Black small square in Tamil Nadu. C. Rajagopalachari led a march from Tiruchirappalli to Vedaniyam, a small coastal town in the Tanjore district. Black small square in Malabar. K. Kelappan led a march from Calicut to Kohinoor. Black small square in Assam. Satyagrahis walked from Sylhet to Noakhali to make salt. Black small square imports of foreign cloth and other items fell. Black small square governor suffered a loss of income from liquor, excise and land revenue. Black small square elections to Legislative Assembly were largely boycotted. Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Black small square immediate release of all political prisoners not convicted of violence. Black small square remission of all fines not yet collected. Black small square return of all lands not sold to third parties. Black small square right to make salt in coastal villages for personal consumption. Black small square right to peaceful and non-aggressive picketing. Black small square withdrawal of emergency ordinances. Black small square 2 demands of Gandhi were turned down by Viceroy. Public inquiry into police excesses. Commutation of Bhagat Singh and his comrades. Death sentence to life sentence. Black small square Gandhi on behalf of Congress agreed to suspend the civil disobedience movement. Participate in round table conferences. Question 3. Q. Who the following organized the march on the Tanjore coast to break the salt law in April 1930? 2015. A. V. O. Chidambaram Pillai. B. C. Rajagopalachari. C. K. Kamraj. D. Annie Besant. Answer. B. Question 4. Q. In 1930, Mahatma Gandhi started civil disobedience movement from 1995. A. Sevagram. B. Dandi. C. Sabarmati. D. Wardha. Answer. C. Question 5. A. Home Rule movement. B. Non-cooperation movement. C. Civil disobedience movement. D. Quit India movement. Answer. C. Question 6. Q. Assertion A. The effect of labour participation in the Indian nationalist upsurge of the early 1930s was weak. Reason R. The labour leaders considered the ideology of Indian National Congress as bourgeois and reactionary. 2002. Both A and R are true but R is the correct explanation of A. B. Both A and R are true but R is not a correct explanation of A. C. A is true but R is false. D. A is false but R is true. Answer. A. Question 7. Q. During the Indian freedom struggle, the Khodai Khidmatgars, also known as Red Shirts, called for 2002. The union of Pashtun tribal areas in northwest with the Afghanistan. B. The adoption of terrorist tactics and methods for terrorizing and finally ousting the colonial rulers. C. The adoption of communist revolution ideology for political and social reform. D. The Pathan regional nationalist unity and a struggle against colonialism. Answer D. Explanation. KHUDAI-KHIDMATGARS. Black Small Square in 1929, the Khodai Khidmatgars, Servants of God, movement, led by Khan Abdul Ghaffar Khan. Non-violently mobilized to oppose the British in India's northwest frontier province. Black Small Square Ghaffar Khan and the Khodai Khidmatgar movement inspired thousands of Pashtuns, also called Pathans, and used civil resistance to challenge British rule. Black Small Square Ghaffar Khan, who is also known as Badshah Khan and the Frontier Gandhi, formed the world's first non-violent army, a force of perhaps 100,000 Pathans. Black Small Square members of the movement were known as Red Shirts because of the red uniforms they wore. Black Small Square initially they set to work organizing village projects and opening schools, but soon they became part of the broader Indian independence movement. Black Small Square, inspired by the dissidents of the ink and the charismatic spiritual political leadership of Mahatma Gandhi, the Red Shirts blossomed in 1930 during the civil disobedience movement. Question 8. Q. Who among the following organized the famous Chittagong Armory raid? 2001. Lakshmi Sehgal. B. Surya Sen. C. Bhatukeshwar Datta. D. J.M. Sengupta. Answer B. Explanation. Black Small Square, the Chittagong Armory raid, also known as the Chittagong Uprising, was an attempt on the 18th of April 1930 to raid the armory of police and auxiliary forces from the Chittagong Armory in the Bengal Presidency of British India, now in Bangladesh, by armed Indian independence fighters led by Surya Sen. Black Small Square, the raiders were members of revolutionary groups who favored armed uprisings as a means to achieve India's independence from British colonial rule. Black Small Square Sen devised a plan to capture the two main armories in Chittagong, destroy the telegraph and telephone office, take as hostages members of the European Club, the majority of whom were government or military officials. Firearms retailers were also to be raided, while rail and communication lines were to be cut in order to sell Chittagong from Calcutta. Imperial banks at Chittagong were to be looted to gather money for further uprisings, and various jailed revolutionaries would be freed. Struggle for Swaraj, 1919-1939, Part 3. Question 1. Q. Consider the following events during India's freedom struggle, 2004. 1. Chauri Chora outrage. 2. Minto Moli reforms. 3. Dandi March 4. Montague Chelmsford reforms. Which one of the following is the correct chronological order of the events above? 1, 3, 2, 4, B, 2, 4, 1, 3, C, 1, 4, 2, 3, D, 2, 3, 1, 4. Answer B. Question 2. Q. Match list I with list 2 and select the correct answer using the codes given below the lists. 1997. List 1, list 2. A. Moli Minto reforms 1. Countrywide agitation. B. Simon Commission 2. Withdrawal of a movement. C. Chauri Chora incident 3. Communal electorates. D. Dandi March 4. Communal outbreaks 5. Illegal manufactures of salt. Codes. A. A3, B4, C5, D2, B. A4, B1, C2, D3, C. A2, B3, C4, D5, D. A3, B1, C2, D5. Answer D. Before we proceed to some more UPSC previous year questions asked in context of India's freedom struggle, let us first go through some important facts associated with roundtable conferences, as UPSC has asked repeated questions from these topics and revising the theory will allow you to solve the questions easily. Roundtable conferences. Viceroy led Irwin. Prime Minister M.C. MacDonald. Reason-Simon Commission report were inadequate. First roundtable conference. Black Small Square. It was held in London between November 1930 and January 1931. Black Small Square. This was the first conference arranged between the British and the Indians as equals. Black Small Square participation. Government of India was represented by Narendranath Law, Bhupendranath Mitra, CP. Ramaswamy Iyer and M. Ramachandra Rao. Indian Princely States. Muslim League, Hindu Mahasabha. 6. Parsis, Indian Christians, Anglo-Indians. Women, Liberals, Depressed Classes. Justice Party. Labour. Europeans. Second Roundtable Conference. Black Small Square. It was held in London from September 7 to December 1, 1931. Black Small Square Inc. nominated Gandhi as its sole representative. Circumstances. Black Small Square Lord Irwin was replaced by Lord Wellington as Viceroy of India. Black Small Square Labour government in England was replaced by the national government. Black Small Square Conservatives in Britain strongly objected the British government negotiating with Congress on an equal basis. Black Small Square. The session got deadlocked on the question of minorities. Outcome. The session ended with MacDonald's announcement of Black Small Square 2 Muslim majority provinces and Black Small Square the setting up of an Indian Consultative Committee. Black Small Square setting up of 3 expert committees. Finance, franchise and states. Black Small Square the prospect of the unilateral British communal award if Indians failed to agree. Third Roundtable Conference. Black Small Square. This conference held between the 17th of November 1932 and the 24th of December 1932. Black Small Square. It was not attended by the Indian National Congress and Gandhi. Black Small Square. It was ignored by most other Indian leaders. Outcome. A joint select committee was formed to analyze the recommendations and formulate a new act for India which was enforced as the Government of India Act of 1935. Question 3. Q. The meeting of Indian and British political leaders during 1930-32 in London has often been referred to as the first, second and third roundtable conferences. It would be incorrect to refer to them as such because 1996. The Indian National Congress did not take part in 2 of them. B. Indian parties other than the Indian National Congress participating in the conference represented sectional interests in not the whole of India. C. The British Labour Party had withdrawn from the conference, thereby making the proceeding of the conference partisan. D. It was an instance of the conference held in free session and not that of 3 separate conference. Answer D. Before we proceed to some more UPSC previous year questions asked in context of India's freedom struggle, let us first go through some important facts associated with communal award, as UPSC has asked repeated questions from these topics and revising the theory will allow you to solve the questions easily. Communal award. Black Small Square. This was another expression of British policy of divide and rule. Black Small Square. The communal award was announced by British Prime Minister Ramsay MacDonald in August 1932. Black Small Square communal award declared the depressed classes also to be minorities and entitled them to separate electorates. Black Small Square. The Muslims, Sikhs and Christians had already been recognized as minorities. Black Small Square. While strongly disagreeing with the communal award, the Congress decided neither to accept it nor to reject it. Black small square the effort to separate the depressed classes from the rest of the Hindus by treating them as separate. Political entity was vehemently opposed by all the nationalists. Black small square Gandhi saw the communal award as an attack on Indian unity and nationalism. Black small square ACC. To him, it was harmful for both Hinduism and to the depressed classes since it provided no solution to the socially degraded position of the depressed classes. Black small square Gandhi demanded that the depressed classes be elected through joint electorate while expressing no objection to the demand for a large number of reserved seats. Black small square and depressed for his demands, Gandhiji went on an indefinite fast on September 20, 1932. Pune Pact. Black small square Pune Pact was accepted by the government as an amendment to the communal award. Black small square this agreement between Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar and Mahatma Gandhi was signed on September 24, 1932. Black small square this pact abandoned the idea of separate electorates for the depressed classes. Black small square but the seats reserved for the depressed classes were increased from 71 to 147 in provincial legislatures and to 18% of the total in the central legislature. Question 4. Q. Consider the following statements. 2005. 1. In the first round table conference, Dr. Ambedkar demanded separate electorates for the depressed classes. 2. In the Pune Pact, special provisions for representation of the depressed people in the local bodies and civil services were made. 3. The Indian National Congress did not take part in the third round table conference. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 and 2, B, 2 and 3, C, 1 and 3, D, 1, 2 and 3 answer, C. Question 5. Q. Mahatma Gandhi undertook fast unto death in 1932, mainly because 2012. A round-table conference failed to satisfy Indian political aspirations. B. Congress and Muslim League had differences of opinion. C. Ramsay MacDonald announced the communal award. D. None of the statements A, B, and C given above is correct in this context. Answer, C. Question 6. Q. The Pune Pact which was signed between the British government and Mahatma Gandhi in 1934 proved for 1997. A creation of dominion status for India. B. Separate electorates for the Muslims. C. Separate electorate for the Harijan. D. Joint electorate with reservation for Harijan. Answer, D. Question 7. Q. Who among the following was a prominent leader of the Congress Socialist Party? 1996. A. M. N. Roy. B. Ganesh Shankar Vidyarthi. C. Pattum Chinu Pillai. D. Acharya Narendra Dev. Answer, D. Question 8. Q. With reference to Congress Socialist Party, consider the following statements. 2015. 1. It advocated the boycott of British goods and evasion of taxes. 2. It wanted to establish the dictatorship of proletariat. 3. It advocated separate electorate for minorities and oppressed classes. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 and 2 only. B. 3 only. C. 1, 2 and 3. D. None. Answer, D. Question 9. Q. In which one of the following provinces was a Congress ministry not formed under the Act of 1935? 2005. Bihar. B. Madras. C. Orissa. D. Punjab. Answer, D. Question 10. Q. Consider the following statements. 2010. 1. The Bombay Manifesto, signed in 1936, openly opposed the preaching of socialist ideals. 2. It evoked support from a large section of business community from all across India. Which of the statements given above are correct? 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2. D. Neither 1 nor 2 answers. C. Explanation. Black small square it was prepared in 1936 at Bombay by a team of well-known Indian businessmen deeply involved in India's freedom struggle and the welfare of Indian people. Black small square Sir Purushottam Nath Thakur Das, J.R.D. Tata, G.D. Birla, Sir Shri Ram, Kasturbai Lalbhai, A.D. Shroff and John Mackay submitted a memorandum in which they presented an outline of future economic development of India. Thus was born the famous Bombay Plan. Black small square it was also a weapon to fight the socialist threat. That is why its framers decided to stress a need to study poverty and discontent and adopt a sympathetic attitude towards labor. Black small square basically it was an attempt on the part of Bombay businessmen of broadening the anti-socialist front as much as possible. Question 11. Q. Match list I with list 2 and select the correct answer. 1997 LIST 1 list 2. A. Chittagong Amari Raid 1. Lala Hardayal. B. Kakori Conspiracy 2. Jitin Das. C. Lahore Conspiracy 3. Surya Sen. D. Ghaddar Party 4. Ram Prasad Bismil 5. Vasudev Phadke. A. A3. B4. C1. D5. B. A4. B3. C2. D5. C. A3. B4. C2. D1. D. A2. B4. C3. D1 answer, C. Do it yourself. Question 12. Q. Match list I with list 2 and select the correct answer using the codes given below the lists. 1997. List 1 list 2. A. Surat Split 1. 1929. B. Communal Award 2. 1928. C. All Party Convention 3. 1932. D. Pona Swaraj 4. 1907 5. 1905. Codes. A. A4. B3. C1. D5. B. A4. B3. C2. D1. C. A2. B5. C4. D1. D. A1. B4. C2. D3. Question 13. Q. Match list I with 2 and select the correct answer using the codes given below the lists. 1996. LIST 1 list 2. A. 1883 1. Announcement of Communal Award from Whitehall. B. 1906 2. Formation of the All India State Peoples Conference. C. 1927 3. Foundation of Muslim League at Dikcha. D. 1932 4. First session of National Conference at Calcutta. Codes. A. A4. B3. C1. D2. B. A3. B4. C1. D2. C. A4. B3. C2. D1. D. A3. B4. C2. D1. Towards